Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with this Nigerian newspaper. The major story here, rompers in ECOWAS as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quit sub-regional body. Alleged foreign manipulation of organization following sanctions on coups. ECOWAS not aware of exit. Another story here says, Wike concludes tour of area councils, charges residents not to politicize insecurity. NIMET predicts 3-day dust haze from today. And at the downstream, NDLEA declares ex-beauty queen Aderinoye wanted for drug trafficking, arrests the Brazil returnee at Lagos airport as suspect excretes 60 wraps of cocaine. Account for over 40 trillion naira local government area allocations, Serap tells 36 governors, the Federal Capital Territory. We'll move quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. And the major story here is still talking about ECOWAS being shaky as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quit. Their withdrawal notification not yet received, but he says more division imminent, NIIA directors warn. And a USA-based lecturer accidentally shot dead in Osun. A sad one there. Ibano explosion, NSC geoscientists to submit reports on building integrity tomorrow. Another downstrip, how National Assembly has been violating Constitution since 1999, fails to inaugurate constitutionally approved committee 25 years after. And analysts are reacting to CBN's key economic projections. They say it is still premature. And another story at the top corner here, governors can't fund state police. Uzodinma is saying Southwest governors talking with federal government on Amotekun carrying arms. Uyibanji. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. We move now to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Coup fallout, trade, security concerns as Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. And that's the picture there depicting that story. And another story here says, petrol trading lifts NNPC's profit to $2.7 billion. Saudi Aramco declares $161 billion. Beware, COVID infection fatality is still on the prowl. A news analysis there. You find that on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. NRC announces return of Kano-Lagos train service. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. We move now to the front page of the Leadership newspaper, and the major story is talking about military juntas, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso call ECOWAS bluff, quit block. And we have not been notified, says regional body. Nigeria, others, greatest losers, say CSOs. And AFCON Angola match will be tough, Besiero is saying. My battle's not yet over, says Fubara, as a governor of Rivers State. Police arrest kidnapper who killed Nabiha. You find that story on page 15 of the Leadership newspaper. Ondo 2024, Akeredolu wanted me to succeed him. Akinterewa is saying that. To the Vanguard newspaper now, the major story, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, pull out of ECOWAS. We are ready for negotiated solution, ECOWAS Commission. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger on suspension from ECOWAS presidency. It's a serious diplomatic meltdown. Atiku is saying that. And another story at the top corner, corrupt governance responsible for insecurity banditry in North. Vice President Kashim Shettima is saying Afeni Ferry expresses worry over upsurge in kidnapping in Southwest. Others, insecurity. We're taking fight to criminals' den. That's what the federal government is saying. Another top strip there, federal government inaugurates minimum wage committee tomorrow. And to the Daily Trust newspaper, still talking about ECOWAS ECOWAS opts for negotiation as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quit. While we pulled out of regional bloc, action will weaken group diplomat. As is saying this, a diplomat is saying this, Atiku urges Nigeria to tighten security. And at the downstrip, war on Gaza, children paying highest price. Tinubu to inaugurate minimum wage committee Tuesday. How security operatives nabbed Nabiha's killers. Police is saying explosion kills 6 in Borno. A really sad story there. Kemi.
Next is Nigerian News Direct. The lead story there is on the happenings in the West Africa bloc as pressure tightens, it says, over Nigeria's foreign trade as Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso exits ECOWAS. It also goes on with this rider that Nigerians risk a further hike in price of rice, oil, millet, and in other commodities. Police arrest Prince over murder of ex-rep aspirant in Osun who was shot by a vigilante. It's also on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, as well as a report that Lagos issues quit notice to illegal occupants under Ijora Blue Line bridges. And up above the masthead on insecurity, federal government says we are boldly confronting threats, taking fights to criminals' stance. Next is the Daily Times. Tinubu rules out reinstatement of Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Betta Edu, as suspended minister indicts president's aide. NAF, that's the Air Force, Nigerian Air Force, admits killing civilians in 2023 airstrikes in error. This is a developing story regarding the aero bombings in Nasarawa State that occurred about a year ago. Syringe importation killing local manufacturers, says NAFDAC. And on the AFCON, of course, there is a charge for the Super Eagles to get the trophy. It's been congratulations since their win over Cameroon over the weekend. On Fox News, Gbajabiamila, presidency cabal fights special investigator over $30 billion loot, 66 houses traced to Tunde Sabiu. Intensify witch hunt of Obaze starve his team of operational funds, contrary to President Tinubu's directives, mobilizing cronies to buy back seized banks through backdoor, as 259 anti-corruption groups urged Tinubu to call Gbajabiamila to order. In other stories there, kidnappings, Afenifere thing as insiders in Nigeria security crisis. King Charles III spends third day in London hospital. On the economy, we are doing everything to stem inflation, exchange rate crisis, says federal government. The next paper now is National Economy. And the big story there is on the new minimum wage. Caption, stakeholders set agenda for FG labor negotiation as workers express delay over delayed takeoff. Workers express anger, I should say, over delayed takeoff. Yeah, you should read that. Nigeria eyes 21.5% inflation rate decline in 2024. And of course, there are some other stories there about how banks can become tech companies to survive fintech challenges. Over now to the Punch. The big story there is still spotlighting what it calls the kidnapping epidemic. Concerns everywhere. Tracking device shortage, hindering police probes. That's according to sources. As it says, a dearth of tracking devices causes delays in investigations. Arrest of abductors, says investigators. 40 trillion naira LG allocations diverted by governors. Manufacturers plan general price hike. And FG appoints 6 governors to minimum wage panel. We check out Abuja Inquirer next. On this breakthrough, it says, as the DPO rejects 1 million naira bribe, naps the killer of one of the recently kidnapped victims. Of course, Nabiha was killed, but her sisters were eventually released and the police has still been on the trail. She wasn't the only one killed, but so far the police says it has nabbed Nabiha's killer. All right, area boys are collecting taxes, but FG not recruiting them. That's according to the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele. There are details there in the Abuja Inquirer. And now on Daily Independent newspaper, experts see Naira trading at 2,000 Naira to the dollar, says CBN is overwhelmed. There are a host of reactions there. You may want to check that out. Legal hurdle, Miskoto, Lagos government planned airport. Analyst agrees state needs to complement Murtala Mohammed Airport. We aren't aware of any legal hurdle, says the Lagos state government. Right, there's so many stories on Daily Independent. Upsurge of kidnapping at Afenifere restates call for multi-level policing, and FG vows to recover royalties, taxes in mining sector. Right. Finally is Nature News. Nigerians will pay more for maize paddy rice this year, says FX. Jigawa State implements specialized course to combat sanitation offenses. On environmental sanitation, Lagos sacks occupiers under Ijora initiatives. And up above the big story is agriculture is seen as a key solution to northern insecurity, says Governor Bago of Niger State.
Well, the stories dominating the papers this morning is obviously the Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quitting ECOWAS. They purportedly saying they're quitting ECOWAS, and all the reactions coming out of that story.
Right.
But the one that would interest the majority of Nigerians would be manufacturers saying that there's going to be a general hike in the price of commodities, and for them it's as a result of the continued fall of the value of the naira against the dollar. And so what they're saying is Nigerians get prepared for a hike in the price of goods and services. Do what you can now before they begin to reflect these prices on their goods and services. It's really a critical time as it is. Unfortunately, the government's intention to see that there is some level of, when it said subsidy was gone, and to also ensure that the naira and the dollar, if the exchange rates, there was not much disparity in the exchange window. That was why it took some steps. But it seems that that is not reconciling despite all of the efforts being made by the CBN.
It's a very worrisome situation. The government is has been talking about the steps it has taken so far, but of course on the streets the realities are still very dire.
Yeah.
I recall again when Anthony Blinken came, part of the takeaways was that all these problems, all the harsh impact of the government's bold policies are short term. But of course, we're talking about, survival, even though, yes, they are
that time
pushing.
It may be short, but that time is critical.
Right. Even though they are pushing for, for that is all a momentary, suffering. But, what about in the now? And
the immediate, yes.
Right. The immediate measures that need to be taken. Which paper did I see now that said if care isn't taken, the naira may hit 2,000, sliding further, 2,000 to the dollar. And, all these projections are really worrisome because we still remain consumer-driven, a consumer-driven country. And, this is also a country where basic amenities, rice, gari, and other staples, just the prices continue to, to skyrocket, with many Nigerians having to go to bed hungry. So how much longer can we, can we wait? There's been so much hope that the agricultural, the agricultural industry, so to speak, would help, especially at this time, to cushion the effect that food will be affordable and not just available. But we just hope that the government, does something.
For the agricultural sector, there are a myriad of issues. Security, for instance, in Plateau State, mango specifically that is also said to be a food basket of the nation is going through security challenges as we speak, and farmers can't return to the farms. So all of these issues are also the implication of the challenges that we are faced with regards to naira to the dollar, insecurity, and all of it. And we hope that the CBN, there's a paper that was reporting that it seems the CBN is overwhelmed as it is. Experts are saying that. But we have an expert who will be joining us in the studio to look into these issues to know if truly the CBN is actually being overwhelmed or not, while we are not seeing the attendant result. The president had said, let the poor breathe, but as it is, it seems the poor is choking already. And with the Manufacturers Association saying that there will be a hiking price, what can Nigerians expect in the coming days? So coming up on TVC Breakfast.